very good morning to all the viewers of Unacademy Law. आप सभी का बहुत बहुत स्वागत है हमारे आज के न्यूज़पेपर एनालिसिस में. एंड एज वी डाइव इन समथिंग, आज का न्यूज़पेपर इज अ माइक्रोकॉज्म ऑफ द डेज व्हेन वी विल हैव मच लेस इंफॉर्मेशन टू नोट डाउन एंड मोर थिंग्स टू रीड. That is what today's newspaper will be about. So very good morning to all the live viewers, and if you are someone who is watching me for the very first time, I'm Kushagra Goyal, a graduate from National Law University, a master's in economics, and you can reach out to me on my Telegram channel, that is Kushagra Goyal _Unacademy. And for class notes, you can reach out to me or the notes access through bit.ly/KUSHGK notes. So on that note, let's dive in straight to the newspaper. So सबसे पहले we had a trust vote yesterday in Jharkhand. This was similar to what happened in Delhi a couple of days ago, कि they confirmed that they do have majority. The JMM plus Congress plus RJD combined have proved that they do have the majority in Jharkhand. So that's the news about it here. इसके अंदर nothing of note for us. Still no news on the Office of Profit News. जो main बात है, जो main मुद्दा है जिसके पीछे ये सारी news चल रही है, उसके बारे में we had nothing of note. But on this side we have finally had the Conservative Party, or the party in power right now in Britain, has announced that they will their next prime minister to replace Boris Johnson. The current prime minister will be Liz Truss. She will be the third woman to head the United Kingdom as a female prime minister. She has defeated Indian origin Rishi Sunak by a close margin of vote. You could say that this was with a 57-42 ratio of voting is where she will now take up the job at 3rd Downing Street. So that is the news that we have to note down in the first page itself. Very good morning everyone. Sorry for starting out late today क्योंकि there was some internet trouble. I had to restart the Wi-Fi router, so इस वजह से we started out late. So she will replace Boris Johnson. She is the third women Prime Minister of UK. She is the 56th Prime Minister of UK. Related to women, you can just note down the other two. The first one was Margaret Thatcher. And the second one was Theresa May. Okay, so this is all you need to note down. You could note that Rishi Sunak lost to her, but that is not relevant anymore for us because he has lost. But Liz Truss, new UK Prime Minister, replaces Boris Johnson, third woman Prime Minister of UK. The first one was Margaret Thatcher, second was Theresa May. She is the 56th Prime Minister of UK and she is from the Conservative Party. Okay, the Conservative Party is from where she is. Now you realize this is something unique in UK in comparison to what we have in India. For example, there have been times where individuals have contested within parties for power. Okay, But in India, what happens, the last time we had a intra-party vote was with the Congress party in 1967. In 1967, the party voted between Morarji Desai and Indira Gandhi for Prime Minister. What happened? Morarji Desai quit the party, formed his own party. In UK, people are too much behind that, so you have to always fight within the party, and once you lose, you work for the party. But हमारे यहाँ the culture is that you start your own party and you formulate. This is so common in India, that ideological thing, and that intra-party vote is very rare. We have not had an intra-party vote since the last time we had our first women prime minister. So imagine, it has already been almost 50 years the last time workers of the party selected the person as their leader. So we don't get to, and hopefully the Congress party will become the first one in recent times to have an election for the party president post. Otherwise, we have not had such elections or within party votes in almost no political party at all, which is the difference. यहाँ पे if you watch her speech, अगर आप YouTube पर उनकी speech देखेंगे, तो she was sitting right next to Rishi Sunak. Rishi Sunak is a person who she has defeated, but he is himself saying that no, now we need to work for the party together. So this shows the overall collective spirit that the parties have within themselves in UK, which is something we all need to aspire for overall, for a better democracy. More mature democracy is what we need. Okay. Another thing to note down is that 10 Downing Street, जैसे हमारे यहाँ 7 RCR या लोकमान्य तिलक मार्ग, which is the house of the Prime Minister. So now अभी तक it is known as 10 Downing Street is where the Prime Minister lives and works. Okay, so 10 Downing Street, PM House. Alright, then we move on. Apart from this, heavy rains happened in Bangalore, the most heavy rains since, you could say, 1971, but nothing of note. All of this, nothing of note for us. Then we move on, more national news, nothing of importance. Then we come to the editorial section. So on the left hand side, a matter of trust. So this one is a comment on the events in Jharkhand. कि Jharkhand में क्या हो रहा है, about how the governor now needs to finally take a call whether he will dismiss Hemant Soren or not dismiss him. That is a decision that the governor should take. He should not wait out for some political events to tilt in his party's favor or the other party's favor. Those are things that should not happen as of now. They should work, and the governor as a constitutional position, कि governor को अपनी संवैधानिक position का एहतियात रखते हुए he should now finally take a call whether the office of profit event merits disqualification of Hemant Soren or not. Okay, so this is about that कि उन्होंने अपनी majority prove कर दी है, that the government is still stable, so they should work towards that. उसके बारे में this editorial is there. Nothing of note. हमने ये section number about the Representation of Peoples Act पहले भी note कर रखा है. That is section 9A of the RPA. This is the one where the discussion is about. Okay, ये already discuss हो चुका है हमारे यहाँ कि this is the place, this is the section under Office of Profit Dismissal. All right. Then we move on. Rear guard action. Now this is about, you all know Cyrus Mistry passed away in a road accident along with 3 other people. So this is saying that देखो, almost 1.5 lakh people in India die because of road accidents in our country. Okay, and what we need to do or what us as individuals can do is ensure that we put on our seat belts properly. Okay, that is the idea that needs to be worked on definitely in our country. And a couple of things that are also pointed out in the editorial is about the headrest. Seat belt, rear seat belt. So how many of you use seat belts whenever you travel in cars? How many of you use rear seat belts when you travel in car? How many of your cars have proper headrest when you are sitting in the car? Become an important question for safety reasons. Okay, those are the pointers that were pointed out कि they were not wearing seat belts. Their airbags were there, but that isn't enough if the seat belt is not there. So you need to work on or ensure that you have seat belts, because not wearing seat belt is a punishable offense, but people still do not follow it. Okay, so this is a thing that even the best of us need to ensure the most basic details of ensuring that we wear our seat belts. Okay, then we move on. I'm seeing your questions. Very good morning everybody. Hi Abhineet, Veena, Damanjeet, Kashish, Saurabh, Lakshita, Nancy, Avnesh, Sneha. Very good morning. Kavya, Muskan, Noor, Middat, Shivani, Himanshu. Then your questions. Is she from Labour Party? No, she is from the Conservative Party. Liz Truss is from the Conservative Party, the other party. Okay. Then Rishi Sunak is from which party? He is also from the Conservative Party. The two candidates is just like Piyush Goyal and Amit Shah fighting for the post of Prime Minister. If in case Prime Minister Modi decides to resign, the people of BJP are voting to select who will become the next Prime Minister. So that's the kind of decision, intra-party vote. Okay, that is what has happened. What is the meaning of lease? Lease is like a loan कि किसी समय तक के लिए आपको आपकी land you are providing it to someone for a limited time period. You are a science stream student and want to give CLAT, please suggest some strategy. Subscribe to Unacademy is the easiest one. Start joining the batch. It doesn't matter आप कौन सी stream से हो, as long as you have the best preparation. You don't have to worry about whatever stream you are from. Okay. Then we come. So let's discuss this editorial first. The difficult path to India-Pakistan peace. Now, this is about the analysis of leadership. कि India and Pakistan में there is limited chance of a continued peace between the two countries. See, France and England have been at war for centuries, but now they are at peace. They have not fought. They are part of one alliance system. Most of their policies are aligned on one thing. Germany and France, Germany and UK, these countries had fought wars with each other, killed thousands of individuals against one another, but are now together. Why is such a thing not possible between India and Pakistan is the big question. Because it says that there is at certain times the leaders do not want it, and certain times the people are not willing to follow the leaders for enduring peace. That we have failed to inculcate the value of togetherness between the divide of India and Pakistan for a lasting peace. इस वजह से there is still no peace despite the reasons why we should be together, we should work together. It will be better for economics, it will be better for social cohesion, it will be better for security purposes. But फिर भी ऐसा नहीं होता है because of leaders and the people. That's the primary concern here. Then we move on. Very good morning, Gayatri. To the main editorial. Now this is the one that you all should be reading. सबसे पहले it talks about Mikhail Gorbachev, macroeconomics and Mahatma Gandhi. Concepts of free trade, financial freedom and privatization are not the right solutions for Indian citizens. ये editorial समझने के लिए कुछ बातें समझनी जरूरी है. GDP size is not equal to growth of all. So अगर हम ये कहें कि GDP इंक्रीज हो रही है, ओके, अगर हम ये कहें कि इंडिया की GDP 2.7 से अब 3.1 ट्रिलियन की हो गई है, या अब हम दुनिया की 5वीं सबसे बड़ी अर्थव्यवस्था बन गए, that doesn't mean that everyone is better off. Second, certain facts about Indian economy is that today 80 crore people out of 130 crore live on or are reliant on free ration for their basic food requirements. if you earn 25k or 1000 per month, you are counted among top 10% of Indians. One percent of India's population holds 27% of wealth. ठीक है? So these are the realities of Indian economy today. Even if we become the fifth largest economy, the reality or human development is still low. So the author begins by these analysis and says that what had happened in Soviet Union. Mikhail Gorbachev, the last president of Soviet Union, embarked upon two policies, perestroika and glasnost. That is reconstruction and openness. Okay, what did he want? He had realized that the Soviet economy had stagnated. So there was a need for a mixed economic system, that we need to change the track of Soviet economy. But instead of the plan that he had, what triumphed was Western capitalism. In that Western capitalism, it was allowed that the Soviet economy needed large-scale privatization, that all the resources should be privatized. When all the resources will be privatized, income will rise. But the problem was income rose of only limited people. And on top of that, majority of the people of Russia and Soviet Union people, almost 10 million of them, 10 million of such people died because of this transition. So that was the cause of Western capitalism. Mikhail Gorbachev had even come to India and called Indian economists for a system of mixed economy, that our country, Soviet Union, wanted to embody or follow India as a way of their future growth. When we got independence in 1950, we followed the Soviet system. We reformed and brought it to a mixed economy. The Soviet Union wanted our system, but what triumphed was capitalism. In that capitalism, the loss was that there was a rise in inequality, there was a fall in per capita income, there was a fall in overall life expectancy, and the income of these people of the erstwhile Soviet Union crashed, and they are still recovering from it. They are not the prime economy that they were till 1990. So those challenges, therefore, the author is then concluding that for us as Indians, what we need to do is not focus on this large scale capitalism. What we need to work towards is equity and not absolute freedom. The author is talking about challenges of two kinds. So, but before I move to that, I want to tell all of you that Unacademy is launching a new channel known as Unacademy Legal World, which will be a one space for all your CLAT journey solutions, where we will provide you with landmark cases, legal news also on a regular basis. So if you want to subscribe, you can scan the QR code on the bottom left. And if you are a 2023 or 24 aspirant and want to prepare for the examination, there is an all India CLAT mock test happening for all of you on September 11 at 3 p.m. So आप इस mock test के लिए subscribe कर सकते हो, enroll कर सकते हो using the code KUSHGK, और the rank 1 of this mock test will get 100% scholarship. And if you want to be like the rankers who have achieved so much with Unacademy, then you can enroll in Success NLU batch using the code KUSHGK, which will begin on September 8. And इस batch के through आपको 50 live mock tests, live classes plus 450 sectional tests including monthly GK compendium मिलेगा. And if you are preparing for a 3-year LLB batch, then you can enroll for the LLB Dream batch, which will allow you 10 plus live mock test, and it begins on September the 7th. So when you decide to take a subscription, you can choose between two categories, Plus and Iconic. But Iconic gets you live mentorship, doubt solving, and priority in classes. So if you want to avail all of this, including physical notes, then subscribe to Iconic Category Notes and take your subscriptions based on the length of your examination. 2023 students will need to take a minimum of 6 months ka subscription, and to get a 10% discount, use the code KUSHGK. So there are other doubt solving sessions lined up for all of you, which you can enroll or be part of. Okay. And on that note, if you have any other doubts, you can call us at 8585858585 per. So in 1991, the author is saying it was a triumph of free markets and democracy, because the Soviet Union was not a democracy. But what is happening in 2022? In 2022, there is a fight between capitalism versus democracy. Loktantra is under competition with capitalism. That capitalism now wants to defeat democracy, because democracy calls for equal rights of everybody. And when we call for equal rights of everybody, even the rich have equal amount of vote. But in capitalism, the rich have more power than the poor. So the current tussle in India is also ideological, that whether we want democracy to triumph or we want capitalism to triumph. For the poor of the country, it is clear that democracy systems where everybody has equal rights has to triumph for equity in the society and for future growth. So that is the structure here. हमारे लिए GK के perspective से the policies of perestroika and glasnost become important. कि and what is the ideology of capitalism and what is the ideology of democracy is discussed here. So पहले perestroika and glasnost, Mikhail Gorbachev. Then the capitalist model is the ideology where property rights triumph human rights. Whoever owns something has a right to determine how it will be used. $1 gives you 1 vote and $1 million give you 1 million votes. Whereas in democracy, human right requires every human being, black or white, billionaire or pauper, equal votes. So this is the challenge that the country is today facing. All right. Then we move on. Hi Shivani. Then we move on to public health need not be led by doctors alone. So this is a policy article which is saying that we need to stop thinking that overall societal health can only be built through doctors, कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा डॉक्टर्स बनाने से हमारी सोसाइटी में हेल्थ सिस्टम बेटर हो जाएगा. ऐसा नहीं है. द ऑथर इज सेइंग कि आशा, आंगनवाड़ी वर्कर्स, ओवरऑल मिडवाइफ्स, नर्सेज, टेस्टिंग फैसिलिटीज़ इंप्रूव करने से भी पब्लिक हेल्थ इंप्रूव होगी. सो हमें उसके लिए काम करने की ज़रूरत है. ओके, सो इट्स अ पॉलिसी आर्टिकल, यू कैन स्किप इट. देन द नेक्स्ट वन, my name is Kushagra Goyal. Then on the right hand side, funding public education. So most of the central universities today, even NLUs, are based on the idea कि आप उतनी फीस दो जितना इंस्टीट्यूशन को चलाने के लिए ज़रूरी है. ओके, ऑल राइट. बट ओवरऑल द गवर्नमेंट इज मूविंग टूवर्ड्स सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का हेल्थ और एजुकेशन में एक्सपेंडिचर has now come down to 0.1% of the total GDP. So to improve our educational qualities, we need to reach 6% of the GDP. अभी हम कितना spend कर रहे हैं? 0.1% of the GDP. Where do we need to reach? 6% of the GDP. तो अभी हमें अपने एजुकेशन में खर्चा इंक्रीज करने की बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है. As per the author, again a policy one, not important. And then we have the greatest of all time, Serena Williams retires. Okay, so tennis can be divided into two eras. From 1968 onwards begins the open era of tennis. ठीक है. In the open era of tennis, with 23 Grand Slams, Serena Williams is the greatest of all times. Prior to that, ठीक है, 1877 से लेके 1967 तक was the closed era. ठीक है. This era के अंदर there was 24 Grand Slams के साथ Margaret Court, who is still alive, she had won 24. But today Serena Williams is considered the greatest of all times because she won in tennis in the open era with 23 Grand Slams as women's singles. Okay, so Serena Williams of USA has won 23 Grand Slams. Margaret Court was from another era, like prior to 1968, the closed era of tennis. She had won 24. अगर आपको एग्जाम में पूछा जाए द मोस्ट सक्सेसफुल विमेन सिंगल्स टेनिस प्लेयर, मार्गरेट कोर्ट. अगर आपसे पूछा जाए द मोस्ट सक्सेसफुल फीमेल और विमेन सिंगल्स टेनिस प्लेयर इन द ओपन एरा, सेरेना विलियम्स. ओके, ओपन एरा का क्वेश्चन आएगा तो सेरेना विलियम्स, ओवरऑल क्वेश्चन आएगा तो मार्गरेट कोर्ट. ओके, ये बात याद रखनी है आप सबको. ठीक है, this is the difference. In open era she has won 23. She has now retired from the sport. Okay, she is the only one to have won a major or a grand slam after the age of 34. Till the age of 31 she was competing here. Okay, the next one in open era is Steffi Graf, who has 22. Margaret Court belongs to Australia. Serena Williams belongs to USA. Open era is the new era of tennis. क्या होता था पहले, टिल 1967, ओके, ये समझने की बात है. टिल 1967 देयर वर टू टाइप्स ऑफ प्लेयर्स, प्रोफेशनल्स एंड एमेचर्स. ठीक है, दो टाइप के प्लेयर्स होते थे, प्रोफेशनल्स एंड एमेचर्स. Amateurs played for zero prize money, मतलब they used to only play for the fun of the sport. Okay, so they earned zero prize money. आज आप टेनिस खेलते हो, okay, in open era, no division, and everyone plays for prize money. ठीक है, टिल 1967, 1877 से लेके 1967 तक देयर वाज अ डिवीजन. प्रोफेशनल्स होते थे और एमेचर्स होते थे. एमेचर प्लेयर्स प्राइज मनी के लिए नहीं खेलते थे, प्रोफेशनल्स यूज्ड टू प्ले फॉर मनी. ठीक है, सो ग्रैंड स्लैम्स जो टूर्नामेंट्स थे टिल दिस एरा, ओके, ग्रैंड स्लैम्स जो 4 होते हैं, ऑस्ट्रेलियन ओपन, फ्रेंच ओपन, Wimbledon and US Open. The Grand Slams only allowed amateurs to play. Were limited to amateurs only. Okay. So इस वजह से जो closed era कह सकते हैं या जो previous era था टेनिस का, उसके अंदर the best players didn't always compete against one another. So इस वजह से open era is seen as the more competitive timeline. ठीक है, दिस इज द रियलिटी. देन वी मूव ऑन. नेक्स्ट इज सीट बेल्ट्स, हेड रिस्ट्रेंट्स एंड सेफ्टी रेगुलेशंस, कि क्या क्या हमारी कार्स के अंदर सेफ्टी रेगुलेशंस इंप्रूवमेंट करने की ज़रूरत है. ओके, सो दीज आर द आइडियाज दैट इज टॉक्ड अबाउट कि वाई सीट बेल्ट इज इम्पॉर्टेंट, वाई हेड रेस्ट इज इम्पॉर्टेंट, वाई सीट एयर बैग्स आर इम्पॉर्टेंट टू प्रिवेंट crashes, okay, to prevent death. GS stands for Grand Slams. GS का मतलब है Grand Slams. There are 4 Grand Slams of tennis. ठीक है, 4 होते हैं. एक सबसे पहले ऑस्ट्रेलियन ओपन, French Open, Wimbledon एंड US ओपन. ठीक है, ये होते हैं टेनिस के 4 ग्रैंड स्लैम्स. विंबलडन इज द ओल्डेस्ट. ठीक है, ऑलराइट. ये अब हमें कुछ याद करने की जरूरत नहीं है. नथिंग टू नोट इन दिस आर्टिकल. ओके, नथिंग ऑफ नोट. देन वी कम बैन ऑन कन्वर्जन थेरेपी फॉर LGBTQIA+. हमने कल इसके बाद में बात करी थी कि कन्वर्जन थेरेपी इज फोर्सफुल चेंज बिटवीन अ पर्सन सेक्सुअल ओरिएंटेशन. ये एक प्रोफेशनल मिसकॉन्डक्ट कहलाएगा अब. ठीक है, सो अगर आपको इसके बारे में डिटेल में देखना है तो रेफर टू September 5 वाला एनालिसिस. ठीक है, September 5 को हमने इसके बारे में ज़्यादा डिटेल में बात करी है. सो प्लीज़ वॉच दैट. आई कांट रिपीट द सेम थिंग एवरी डे. इस बेसिकली सेक्सुअल ओरिएंटेशन अगर किसी का इज नॉट हेट्रोसेक्सुअल तो दे शुड बी अलाउड फॉर और दे शुड नॉट बी फोर्स टू चेंज इट. ओके, दैट्स द आइडिया. उसके बाद आगे बढ़ते हैं ऑन अदर नेशनल न्यूज. सो बांग्लादेश प्राइम मिनिस्टर शेख हसीना विल बी इन इंडिया टुडे and she will be meeting the prime minister and it will be based on, we'll have to note, wait and see what is discussed. Then we come other things. The Supreme Court's constitutional bench is listening to the challenges on the petition whether hijab should be allowed in schools or not. That is the question that is now being taken up by the Supreme Court. Okay, then we move on. More political news, nothing of note for us. Then on international news. Okay, Chileans reject overhaul of the constitution. So कल हमने बात करी थी कि Chile as a country is waiting to decide whether they will have a new constitution or not. That is something the people have rejected. They believe that they do not want the constitution. The constitution had called for equal reservation for women in all positions of power. It had called for more federalism. It had called for more welfare based society, equity based society, but the people of Chile have rejected this constitution. Okay, then we come to this news. Russian court bans top newspaper. The newspaper that won the Nobel Peace Prize for last year. Okay, the last year's Nobel Peace Prize, which was won by Dmitry Muratov, that is Novaya Gazeta. Okay, has now been ordered by the court to shut down. Okay, has been ordered by the court to shut down. Okay, Dmitry Muratov, who won the Nobel Prize last year, that the newspaper has been shut down citing political challenges. Ki Vladimir Putin does not want his or atrocities that he is committing for the world to be reported. So basically the newspaper has been shut down now. Okay, so this is very, very important that Novaya Gazeta shut down. Okay, ठीक है, this is very, very important. Novaya Gazeta. Another thing to note down is that the Maria Ressa, her website Rappler, which was also given the Nobel Peace Prize last year, has been ordered by Philippines to shut down. Okay, that is what has happened. Then we move on. Nothing of note for us. Kenya's Supreme Court upholds presidential win of Ruto. Okay, that the most recent elections that had happened in Kenya have been upheld by the Supreme Court there, which is William Ruto's victory. Okay, in August 9 presidential election have now been upheld by the Supreme Court. Okay, then we move on. Nothing of note from this. Europe heading for recession as cost of living crisis deepens. Overall gas supply रशिया की बंद होने के बाद से things have become very expensive for Europeans and they might not be able to sustain such high inflation until and unless things work out. Okay, then we move on. Nothing of note for us here. Okay, from sporting side, India plays Sri Lanka in Asia Cup today to see whether they'll be able to retain. So this is all what we have to note down in today's newspaper. Liz Truss as new UK Prime Minister. Novaya Gazeta shut down. Then Alright, these are the three main news that you have to note down from today's newspaper. So with this we will conclude. We will have our daily current affair quiz today. Okay, the quiz will happen today at 11:20 AM. मतलब अभी से 8 मिनट के अंदर we will begin the quiz. It will be on. इसके बारे में मेरे टेलीग्राम चैनल पर लिंक है, आप इसे वहाँ से ज्वाइन कर सकते हो. ओके, यू विल नीड द कोड KUSHGK. द क्विज विल be a short one. We will be doing 10 to 15 questions in the quiz. So make sure that you are there for the quiz. तब तक के लिए अपना ध्यान रखो. All right. On that note, connect with me on my Telegram channel, that is Kushagra Goyal _Unacademy, and reach out to me through the notes, that is bit.ly/KUSHGK notes. अनुराग क्विज में अटेंड करना, you'll get the answer there. ठीक है, कोई भी और डाउट आपके रह गए हैं तो आप मेरे से क्विज में पूछ सकते हो. तब तक के लिए if you have liked the analysis, give it a thumbs up, and if you are new to the channel, do subscribe. Definitely subscribe and like बटन दबाना मत भूलना. तब तक अपना ध्यान रखो. टेक केयर एवरीवन. कल मिलते हैं. बाय बाय.